Hi, I'm Scott Olson, co-founder of LTCshop.com and author of Long-Term Care Insurance Now. Here is some practical guidance for self-insuring for long-term care. If you plan to self-insure for long-term care, to get it right, you need to do these three things. Number one, decide which asset you will liquidate first to pay for your long-term care expenses. If you've read my book or some of my posts online, you know that a traditional IRA or a traditional 401k is probably the best way to self-insure or self-fund for long-term care. So that's step one. Step two, make a list of your assets in the order in which you want your assets liquidated to pay for your care. The asset from step one should be put at the top of the list. Then add the rest of your assets in the order that you want them liquidated. Numerous times I'll read a post on the internet where some financial advisor says, just set aside a couple $100,000 into an index fund and that'll be your long-term care fund if you ever need it. The problem with that type of thinking is you cannot assume you'll need only $200,000 to pay for your long-term care. I know someone whose care cost over $900,000, and that was 15 years ago. Fortunately, he had a great long-term care insurance policy, and other than the 90-day elimination period deductible, his policy covered nearly every penny of his care at home. Since you do not know how long you or your spouse or partner might need care, most, if not all of your assets could be at risk. Now, step three, share the list with your loved ones and make sure they understand that you do not want them to sacrifice their careers, their families, sacrifice their health to be your caregiver. This last step is the most important part. The biggest problem with self-insuring is your loved ones do not know how long you'll need care. Since your loved ones will not know how long you might need care, they might hesitate to withdraw the money from your accounts to pay someone to care for you. They will usually try to care for you themselves. The best part about having long-term care insurance for my mother-in-law was that there was no hesitation in getting her the care that she needed. There was no strife between her children, between my wife and her siblings, about how to pay for the care. Everyone knew that she had a long-term care insurance policy and that we should use it right away. And we did. When my father-in-law, my first father-in-law, had his stroke, we all figured that he would die within a year. He lived 7.5 years after he had his stroke. We expected his care to cost X dollars. His care cost was X times 5, which in his case was everything that he and his wife had ever saved. And sadly, he spent the last 2.5 years of his life in a cramped, Medicaid-funded nursing home. A long-term care decision awaits most of us. It's better to make these decisions in agreement with your loved ones, not by yourself, well in advance of need. It's better to have these discussions and make these decisions sooner, when you have more options rather than later when it's a crisis. Caregiving responsibilities never come at a convenient time. When my mother broke her hip, my brother had to take on an enormous amount of responsibilities for her care. Unfortunately, those caregiving responsibilities came shortly after his wife was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of cancer. He was caring for his wife. He was parenting 2 teenagers. He was working a full-time job and taking care of all of our mother's affairs, all at the same time. Not everyone should own long-term care insurance. Not everyone is healthy enough to buy long-term care insurance. But everyone should have a plan for long-term care. Sit down with your loved ones and make that plan. To learn more and to get a quote, go to my website, ltcshop.com, and click on Policy Finder. Answer a few quick questions, and within one business day, we'll send you the details. Thanks.